Peace and welcome. Today we are reviewing the PlayStation 2 game From Russia with Love, the last James Bond game by Electronic Arts before they lost the rights to Activision. And here's why that's a shame. The game is a third-person shooter released in November of 2005 for the Gamecube, PlayStation 2, and Xbox. It was released 5 months later in April 2006 for the PSP. The PSP version is similar to the console version, although it's missing all of the driving stages. But today we will be focusing on the console version. When you first boot up the game, you are met with the gun barrel intro from the movie, which leads right into the game. As a Bond fan, I was delighted to see this. But I would have liked to see it animated with computer graphics, kind of like how GoldenEye 007 made their gun barrel. An animated Brosnan walks up. Otherwise, the fade from movie footage to game footage is a little bit more noticeable than I would like. And in one of the next scenes, you are met with a bootleg Spectre emblem. This group is named Octopus. There is a long story and many legal battles that I won't go too much in depth on, but at this time, they didn't have the rights to the group name Spectre or the character Blofeld. That's why we didn't officially see Blofeld in an Eon Productions Bond movie since Diamonds Are Forever in 1971, until they got the rights back, and in 2015, Christoph Waltz played Blofeld in the movie Spectre. However, this game was during the time they didn't have the rights, so Octopus it is. In a strange twist, the jetpack from Thunderball makes an appearance, and I am all for it. They are taking a bunch of 007 ingredients to cook up an entire dish, and you'll find many things like that throughout this game. Besides that, the game is all about the revenge of Dr. No, and it follows the movie pretty well. The opening scene in the hedge maze was wonderfully done in the game. I'll try not to spoil too much and just say the pre-title sequence is like a tutorial, and I think that's a good idea. The game is a little bit out of order. For example, the hedge maze in the movie is before the title sequence, while in the game it's afterwards. Not a big deal, just a curious decision on the dev's part. The title sequence is a staple of the Bond series, so I think it must be mentioned here. They did a fantastic job. I sometimes don't like when they insert movie clips into the title sequence. Like the title sequence to On Her Majesty's Secret Service. They had clips from previous Bond movies, and they did it again in Die Another Day. However, in the game, the movie clips help tie it to the movie, so I actually really like the use of the footage here. The controls are quite simple. You aim, you shoot, you reload, and then you shoot some more. There is a bullet time special move. It's dubbed Bond Focus. It brings up targets so you can make a precise shot. I don't really use it that much, the game doesn't really require it, and it's fun even without it. The graphics may not compare to modern day games, but for the PS2 I would say it's above average. The Sean Connery model looks like him. They did a good job getting his likeness into the game. They even got his stance down when he aims and shoots his gun.
The eye good, the mouse is good. In fact, this looks better than the original. Oh, I'm madly in love with it.
The stages and the backgrounds are all done really well too. Many of them are directly from the movie. You can find the previously mentioned hedge maze, the underground waterway, the gypsy camp, and many more. There are a total of 14 stages with an additional 4 bonus stages. It may not seem like a lot, but the stages are rather long. The length of the game is one of its strong points. And as a bonus, they also include concept art for each stage. I really like when companies do this. It's something so simple that they probably consider nothing, but it's one thing that I really enjoy in a game. If the game is good, who doesn't want to learn more and see some behind the scenes type of stuff? After you get done playing the game, you might want to experience more, but not necessarily playing. Maybe you want to see an interview, which they did include some of those too. The game does have multiplayer and up to 4 people. The good news is that it's not online multiplayer, so you can still enjoy this mode today. That may have been bad news back then, but now that's perfect because those servers would have been shut down 20 years ago, and it would be completely useless. When you die, you will see the patented blood drip that I think all Bond games should have. However, this one seems to fall a little bit short. I don't know exactly what it is, maybe it's not red enough, or maybe it's a little bit too transparent. Either way, I'm at least glad it's in there. The hit detection isn't always the greatest, but it seems to be only when firing rockets. It has that old problem where you think you have a shot and nothing is in the way, but then it explodes in your face. Stick to the guns and the hit detection is a lot better. The options leave a lot to be desired. If you bother to look, you will notice only brightness, credits, and a Need for Speed demo. The brightness doesn't even change anything. It's just a picture of 2 EA logos so you can adjust the brightness using your TV settings. At least the Need for Speed demo is playable, otherwise the settings are pretty much worthless. It would be nice to see a sound mode. You got the rights to the Bond music, let us enjoy it. The score in the game is adequate. There isn't really anything memorable about it, although you will hear some new renditions of a few classic Bond themes, and I do like that. Especially the instrumental version of From Russia with Love that you can find during the title sequence. Level variation gets a thumbs up. And not only that, but the driving levels were done right. Unlike the 007 Bloodstone game. In that game, the driving stages are just about chasing a target. If you fall too far behind, you fail. Bloodstone doesn't even have any weapons or gadgets on the car. And don't get me wrong, the car stages in Bloodstone are still fun and look really good for a PS3 game. However, in this game, there's a lot more. Your car has weapons and you gotta use them. And to top it off, you get to drive the Aston Martin DB5, the definitive James Bond car. I am really glad to see the DB5, and the fact they got the license to have it really shows they aren't holding back. Maybe even more so when you take into account that Connery didn't drive the DB5 in From Russia with Love, and the first time he did drive it was in the next movie in the series, Goldfinger. The car doesn't handle the best, but it's not the worst driving in gaming by any means. It just takes some getting used to, as the car is a little squirrely, especially when you hit the e-brake. The voice acting for Bond was done by 00 himself, Sean Connery. For the first time since Never Say Never Again, he would be reprising his role as James Bond in a major feature. Also returning is nobody. So that's a little bit disappointing, but most of the cast actually passed away before this game was made. So you can't blame the devs, and I do give credit to the voice actors. They had some big shoes to fill, and they did a good job. However, Natasha Bedingfield as the Prime Minister's daughter can get annoying at times.
My daddy's a very powerful man, you know. You can't just go around
Shut
doing
up!
this.
Overall, this game has the feel of GoldenEye mixed with Grand Theft Auto. You choose the difficulty and must complete certain objectives like GoldenEye, but then it's third person and controls similar to GTA. There is also a little bit of tension in there with the sneaking around aspect, and to top it off, there are stealth kills. I like the fact they included these. It's just another small aspect that adds to the big picture. I give this game a solid 7 out of 10. If you're a Bond fan, it's worth checking out, especially if you enjoy the movie From Russia with Love. It's a good game, and a shame that the license went to Activision after this because they just turned it into a Call of Duty Black Ops clone. I think James Bond is a perfect character for video games. He's a secret agent that gets to go on covert missions, using all of the cool new technology, rolling around in an $800,000 car, going to exotic locations, and surrounded by beautiful ladies. Who doesn't want to play a game based on this character? Last but not least, huge shout out to our gold level patrons, Bearsona11 and newcomer Quantum X. I am ICC. Thanks for watching. Peace.